Welcome back for the last post-game lobby of this week too. I'm Laure, joined by Yamato and Jankos. Jankos, thank you for joining me. That was... Hello. That was an interesting game you played, if I may say.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, holy shit.
I mean, that's one way to
so
define
bad
it.
from both teams. You know, like the first thing, when I was like handshake Wunder, the first thing we both said that like we are both so boosted. So definitely not like the best timeline. But our goal at Heretics is to make BO3s currently. And, you know, we need to win one more game next week.
Yeah.
And then we have BO3s. And, you know, we kind of keep ramping up, keep improving for spring and summer. You know, realistically, we are not here to win winter, but if that happens, great. But yeah, we need more time to be good.
For sure. And I mean, we'll talk about expectations when it comes to the way you guys have been playing so far. But for once, Yamato, I want to say that I'm happy to hear a player say, we want to take our time. It's maybe not the first objective to win winter. And I mean, be realistic to the fact that this team is going to make time to get in motion.
No, for sure. I think it's fair. I think Team Heretics, you guys have shown like some ideas. I think in the way you guys group, there were some games that ended in like a horrible fashion, especially in week 1.
Yeah.
And those are things that you have to like clean up as you go. And I think that that's the state of mind I think a lot of teams are in. Make it to best of 3s, and you actually have a chance to kind of consolidate what's going on. Because I can imagine that these super weeks must be like super exhausting to play.
Definitely. I mean, currently. Last year we had the schedule like every year where we had only 2 game days. Currently we have 3 game days, so you have to travel to the studio. You have to go through like this whole routine of making draft, of preparing. You have to like sacrifice half of your day to be here on time, leave studio. I mean, right now it's like almost 11:30, right? So it's getting quite late, and I think it's quite exhausting, but at the same time it's very fun. I think it's gonna be super rewarding when you make the BO3. This is why it's so important to make the BO3, and this is why many teams started very early, and to prepare for winter split. And even we see teams like BDS and SK Gaming doing very well. SK Gaming slaying Vitality and G2. Also Heretics, the powerhouse. So looking good there.
I want to bounce back on the new format topic because you've been playing for so long with the league. How are you adjusting to the fact that you have one day less for scrims and trainings and everything? Can you feel the difference?
I mean, it feels very fast.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but like you have one free day, so technically you could sacrifice a free day, but even throughout the week, you don't really have time, right? You like scrim from 11:30. I mean, you have a meeting at 11:30, you finish at 8, then you have Champions Queue at 10, you have solo queue between, so it's a lot. So you have like this one free day where you play Champions Queue and solo queue anyway. And then after 3 days of practice, you already have LEC. And then on LEC days, you also have warm-ups and extra scrims to be as good as possible. So I think it's very fun. And it feels like we are trying very hard to work as fast as possible, if I can call it like that. Because if every team keeps improving in the same like speed, we are not gonna win. Like we can't improve at the same speed as other teams. We need to improve way faster. So I think it's very fun and it's very challenging.
Yeah.
And every game, even if it's a nail biter like against Fnatic, it feels good to win.
Let's talk a bit more about this game. Maybe Yamato, you wanted to focus especially on the top side of the map. What did we see here that was interesting or caught your eye?
Yeah, like in my mind, when I look at Fnatic, I'm thinking like their bot side, they just need to like put them in the back pocket. And I was happy to see that Fnatic actually was fighting a 3v3 top side. This is something that we struggled with last year, and I thought that this would be their way in. I had kind of my doubts because they were very imprecise, and I thought that you guys' composition with the Braum and the Zeri and the Azir would just be a very easy way of eventually ending the game. They tried to keep it like crazy by going on side and trying to like push for turrets, but I think they kind of misunderstood by overreaching for towers. I think with split pushing nowadays is less about taking turrets, more about when the enemy defends to take a superior position rather than trying to like put your head into the keyboard and try to end the game because you guys defended well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we made a lot of mistakes early game, right? I got outsmarted by Razork at Herald, and we made some bad calls in which resulted in like Fnatic getting kills. I was not as happy as you seeing them topside. When I saw the Rise on the ward, and I was like, oh, I have to run, and then Rise out, I was like, yeah, I was definitely not as happy seeing them topside. But yeah, I mean, it seems like they are quite a different team compared to with Hylissang and Upset.
Any words on Ebi one-tricking Cassante so far? Because it's becoming a meme for the community. How does he keep on getting away with this?
I don't get it as well. Because it's not like he really wants to play Cassante. It's just Cassante is open and is like a decent blind pick. So might as well just pick it. And of course, he feels very comfortable and he's very good on Cassante. But I hope he gets to play something else at some point, right?
I hope
surely.
Yeah. But and we were talking about top lane especially, and maybe how hard it is to blind pick tops right now. But we've seen decent answers to Cassante though, but it feels like Ebi is the only one who can make the champion work right now.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to red side, just blind picking top, it's like Cassante is the go-to champion, but there's so many good answers into it. I think when Cassante is playing in compositions where the enemy outranges and he kind of has to like run around and chase other people, this is where we see Cassante lose the most. And I think when teams, I can imagine, like for example, Fnatic, I think the reason they leave Cassante open, you guys banned the Gragas, they responded with Jax. I think Jax is probably like the strongest top. And then Cassante followed. And I think in the state of mind of Fnatic, either they're going to be in a situation where you guys pick Cassante, they can pick something into it, or they have to blind pick top anyway. And I think that's so hard to do right now. I think if Cassante is out, what do you really pick top? It's just always going to be a champion that can be relatively countered. Maybe Renekton can be showing more or something like that. No idea really.
Any take on draft structure, Jankos?
I mean, because we play on the same patch for next week, I don't want to get too much into details, but I think if you sacrifice 2 bans in second stage for top lane, you can probably find a blind. That being said, yeah, it's not super simple right now. Maybe you can pick something in first phase and ban for it, or you can, throw bans and pick something in second phase. But I definitely do think that teams don't exactly know how to draft blue side. Even G2, I think today, I'm going to call them out because I felt like Vitality is actually very ahead of the meta. And I think when they drafted against us, we like super griefed in draft. And that's how they got away with it in 4-5. And that's how we kind of had a hard game in front of ourselves. But I think today, for example, Vitality also like giga drafted G2. I think that game was like so hard to play on G2 side.
For sure, yeah.
So I do think that maybe, I don't know if it's red side or if it's like them being ahead or if it's just people not knowing exactly how to draft on blue side, but there could be multiple reasons.
It echoes to something that players have been talking about so far, even though it doesn't really translate in a clear advantage on the red side so far. We'll see how this one develops in the last week of the regular season. But we're just talking about Vitality. They cemented themselves as the top team in the LEC so far, being the first team to lock in group stage. And I mean, we were talking about a draft diff, but also, they seem like a well-oiled machine right now, Yamato.
I think in this game, Bo managed to find really good ganks with the Vi. I think the only way G2 could win is if they somehow got some crazy lead in the early game. And it's so hard, I think, against Ashe and Varus. Like, even though it's like, sure, Udyr on paper can fight the Vi, but that's not really how jungle goes. There's so many details to it. I think when they locked in 4-5, Cassante and Udyr, 2 big meatballs into Cassiopeia and Gwen, I think the longer that game goes, you're going to have a hard time. And Bo just kind of smashed the early with some good gank timings.
And on the other side, we have SK with the perfect week this week. Surprising because they were just facing the top teams in the LEC. What's your take on SK and their success so far in the league, Jankos?
I mean, I think they honestly, it all started, I wanna call it out, it all started with defeating Heretics. We gave them the first win last week on Monday, and suddenly they have a huge win streak going undefeated. So maybe there's something about it. Maybe we're actually like that good and they defeated us with Hextech map. but yeah, anyway.
We don't talk about this one.
I think SK is looking good. I think Markon is carrying a lot of early games. I think he had insane performances on at least 2 games against both G2 and against Vitality. Then he had a very good game on Sejuani. That game probably was more on the bot lane carrying the Lucian Yumi against, I believe, Nami and Jhin. Ezreal, where they got dive 2v2 and solo killed. So I don't know what happened to like Koi bot lane. I think they're playing slightly worse, and I always felt like their bot lane was the reason why Koi is a good team. Even though, yeah, of course, Marang is enabling the team, but has to be someone who has to carry the game, right? So I always felt like it was comp, especially in Summer Split last year. So I'm not certain about them. I think, it will take some time. I think they didn't really scream that much in off-season. I think they'll be a better team. But yeah, definitely SK Gaming and BDS with their crazy counter picks, Adam. Looking good.
Big surprises so far, I want to say, in the LEC. Another surprise today, not to be disrespectful towards them, but it was Astralis picking up the first win in 2023 against a very struggling Excel, but
That's so good for us. Oh my God, thank you.
yeah, I was about to say it benefits you, Jankos, but it was a needed one. Maybe it's gonna be hard still to get top 8 for them, but for moral at least, I think it's a good thing for them.
I'm so happy for Kobe because I think their bot lane actually smurfed every game that they lost. I think they just had like a really hard time fighting around Herald, fighting around Drakes, and I think this time they played Lucian Name into like Draven Nautilus, and Excel looks really like out of shape. They don't have an identity at all, and they didn't manage to like create a snowball or a lead. I really like the Trundle into K'Sante and Seju, and I like the
really
fact
well
that
thought.
Astralis are like, yo, our bot lane's carrying, let's pick champs that are gonna help them carry. I like that.
Jankos, what can we say about Excel? I don't even
not
know
much.
what you think. That's
the thing.
yeah, right. But I didn't think it would go this way for them. What did you expect?
I mean, I
from
didn't
this?
think so either. I don't know who to blame. Probably no one. Like probably everyone is like part of it. I feel like their drafts are like not that crisp, and even when they are like not bad, they still struggle to get wins because of misplays, or maybe they need someone more vocal in the team, or maybe they need, like Yamato said, something that they can specialize in and only play that for like a period of time instead of doing all around drafts. I also feel like VTO is playing worse than he used to last year. Sorry for calling him out, right? But it is a fact. Could be confidence, could be just different jungler, it could be maybe not getting used to, BO1's a lot of stress, right? You have to win these games, you have to make top 8, no pressure, they play us next week, but you have to win, no pressure, guys. Please, don't stress, you have to win. So anyway, where was I? I think Excel is a good team. No disrespect here. We have to win against them and prove that we deserve it more than they do.
I mean, you have them next week. Who else do you have? Let's take a look at the schedule for the last week of the regular season here in Winter Split. For the LEC, you have Excel. You have, we'll look at day 1 for now.
So that's day 1. So day 1, we basically know wherever we are making it top 8 or we have to sweat more.
No pressure then.
I live in pressure. I love pressure.
Yamato, any matchups you're looking forward to seeing here? I have my eyes on the last game, probably. But also, BDS with the way they're performing right now, I really want to see what it does against you two.
I'm just excited to see more red side games, to see if anyone kind of adapts on blue side. I think that G2, as Jankos mentioned, I think they got kind of exposed today. I think Vitality showed a very good preparation, and I'm kind of curious to see how the teams managed to adapt between the weeks, because I think, with BDS and G2, like it's like the matchup of the day somehow. Both on 4-2. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Jankos, any matchup you're looking forward to
I think for me, it's like all of them, right? Because, currently we're in the middle of the pack, so we just kind of want to look at the games and take away as much as we can from them. So Astralis SK, probably that's the least interesting, but we have our own game against Excel that we have to win to make BO8, or sorry, to make BO3s. G2 against BDS could be interesting if Adam gets like a nice counter pick. I think he makes these games very entertaining to watch. Fnatic Mad Lions, Fnatic's fighting for their lives. They have to sweat for it as well. Gonna be fun. Elio and his crew, and then Koi Vitality, we will see if Koi can step up or not. So I think 4 of those games will be definitely fun to watch. Or fun to play.
The format makes it like really interesting overall, I feel, watching the LEC this year especially. And the last question I have for you, Jankos, how is Champions Queue going? Because I saw...
Damn! It bunks! It's really nice. It's
I love
really,
the
really
clip
nice.
about the Warwick, honestly. Is it something... How? Because I know that in high elo solo queue, sometimes OTP may be an issue, but how much of an issue it is in a
No, I think it was funny.
Okay.
That's all. It was funny. I don't think it was intended to play a Warwick strategy. I hope no one's going. Maybe in BO3s we can pull it out. But besides that, I think there's few improvements that I would make to Champions Queue. But I think the overall experience is very fun. There's no one-trick bards that run it down after you ban the champions and play top lane and pick Taric if bard is banned and completely run it down. And there's no one-tricks that are like completely bad when they don't have the champs or are toxic and blah blah. And you are not really that toxic in Champions Queue. So my experience is very fun. I think you need to play both, a bit of solo queue, a bit of Champions queue. You cannot really focus on one because you still want to like practice your mechanics in solo queue, and you kind of want to chill because after playing 6, 7, 8 games with your team, you don't really want to like keep being on comms and talking to other people always, right? So I can see how Soki can be more relaxing and you can kind of focus on your own thing and improving your own mechanics. But at the same time, I feel like it's a very great addition to Europe. I think we are going to use it compared to our LCS brothers that's completely into it and they were like, just didn't use it. I think we are going to really make use of it and we are, show them that we are superior region every aspect again.
There you go. I love it. Yamato, a useful addition to Europe,
For sure. Yeah, we don't even need prize money to motivate players to play it.
We're just competitors.
I just wish they fix maybe like a LEC prio queue because
yes, please.
It's like I'm trying to follow the games and it's like Bo with 9 people that I barely recognize. And I see Jankos with the Warwick player. Like that same guy, I saw him in a different game. Warwick got banned and the guy locks in Garen. Like he's just a menace. He's just enjoying himself.
Adam locked in Garen in my game. And I was laughing, but he did 1v9. So that was very impressive. I was like, wow. It was very fun to watch. But yeah, I think priority queue for LEC players, plus maybe starting at 9 to 1, because I feel like going to sleep at like 2 a.m. Can be a bit late, especially if we have to wake up at 10 or 11 for meeting and scrims. So these are like the 2 things I would complain about, but I feel like it's something that we can fix or LEC will decide. And anyway, it's great.
Well, like your LEC games, it's very entertaining to watch your stream, Jankos, in Champions Queue. And I think that's all for us here on this side of the studio. And in the studio at all, we have to take the PGL selfie now, and I'm really nervous because we're using this. I never used this in my life. We will be back next Saturday for the final week of the regular season. We will see you then, and I'm going to try now to not mess it up. I'm going to take this like 50-year-olds take selfies. Like this. Okay. Yes.
Wait.
We don't see. Okay. This is gonna look awful.
Flashbang.
But that's fine. Jankos, thank you so much for joining us today. Yamato, a pleasure.
Thank you.
As always.
I think it's gonna be great.
It is gonna be great. We'll see how this one turns out. I'm gonna hide it from the light here. We will see you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. Take care and have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Just remember these. So Niski, make sure if you don't get your flash blown early, this game is going to be like way easier for you, frankly.
Yep. Actually, if you don't die and you kill them all in Niski, it might also be easier.
If you don't get your flash blown and also double kill them, then that would be even better.
It is time for the matchup we've all been waiting for between 2 of our top teams, G2 Esports and Team Vitality.
Listen. We should push top. We should push top and we should start Baron because Lucian has no AE.
But that Baron's going to fall very, very quickly. Now, Yike is going to try and get into the river here, but even with the tidal wave coming in, you're not really going to be able to get there in time. Baron has already been taken. TP coming in from Broken Blade. Photon looking to go in as well. Hansama caught in the cease and desist, but it's only Photon and Bo who are there. Broken Blade actually brings them across the wall straight onto the face of Hansama, but Broken Blade tries to act as a wall. Neon still trying to chase Mickey X down. Mickey has nowhere to go. Neon takes the second of the fight. It's onto Perks once again. Bo coming in behind them. The damage from Neon is enough.
The smiles on the faces of Perks. This is what he was hoping this Vitality could one day be.
He's got 3 kills to match Cobby on the retreat to dredge line 4. Targamas, stop hitting walls, my man! This time Finn finds his targets. XL Esports lose the game. Astralis gonna pick up their first win. Meow, meow. Apprehend into the kitty cat. The decimate, the guillotine.
Call an ambulance.
He's inside the shot, flashes over the wall, flashes for, knocks in, guillotine!
But not for me.
Secure.
What was that? Madam! Well done. And BDS stunning the LEC.
Because they could be threatening a dive
They can still threaten a dive. You can always use the Yuumi to tank the tower, and that's exactly what they do. DOS tanks the tower shot. Now they can look for comp as well. He does have the cleanse, but there's nothing really for him to cleanse away from. Execute flashes. Lane, you can see a massive lead. I was going to go for monstrous, and then it switched into massive in the end.